I'm at what in my opinion is potentially one of, if not the hardest ultra endurance cycling events going. A full lap of the Donegal county boundary, taking in the epic, open, windswept and remote roads of the Wild Atlantic Way, including some of the most mythically brutal climbs imaginable. A fight against the elements, the conditions, the roads. This is Ireland at its wildest in every way. And I'm not here to spectate. I'm racing against some of the hardest ultra endurance racers around. I'm not sure if I'll finish. I'm not even sure if I'll get to halfway. I'm scared, nervous, and feeling well out of my depth. This crazy event is 555 kilometers long. The clock will not stop ticking until I get to the line.
Do you think he's showing signs of someone who's going to finish it?
He will finish it.
This is going to be my toughest challenge yet. And this is the bike I'll be riding on, equipped with Shimano Tiagra 4700. That's right, for my hardest race ever, I'm going to be using a bike that costs a fraction of what I'm normally lucky enough to use. Why? Because I can, that's why. It's more than good enough, but am I? Starting in Letterkenny, the route is 555 kilometers long, as the name suggests. There is an initial loop of 207k, taking in the most northerly point of Ireland, Malin Head, and also one of the steepest climbs in Ireland, Mamore Gap. Then the race embarks on a 348 kilometre loop with some seriously brutal climbs along the Wild Atlantic Way, a road battered by the full force of the Atlantic Ocean. The mountains of Knockalla Summit, Hornhead and Glengesh Summit will test my legs to the max before I hopefully make it back to a finish in Letterkenny. I'm ready to do everything I can to do this beautiful event justice and hopefully make it to the end. This, folks, is the Donegal 555.
It's an endurance event, and the reason it's so hard is the terrain and the climbing and the weather and the wind around Donegal, the roads and the climbs, like 6,000 metres of climbing, some of the toughest climbs around these parts of Donegal, like Mamore Gap, Glengesh, Hornhead, Atlantic Drive. They just drain you, you know, the road surface is just like, it's so hard, it's hard to imagine.
So this race can be completed solo or as part of a relay team, and I'll be completing it solo. 555 kilometres against the clock, like a TT. Just me against the course. So the winner last year at this event managed to complete it in 17 hours. But I'm starting to think I'll be lucky if I can do it in under 30 hours. To be honest, I'm really starting to think I'll be lucky if I can even finish it. I'm really starting to wonder if I've bitten off more than I can chew. As a pro, I always had every bit of help possible. Mechanics, soigneurs, managers, bus drivers, I was spoiled. So it's almost adding to the appeal of this challenge that I'm going out on my own. And it definitely adds to my fear of the event. Which brings me to the bike I'll be using for this event, the Orbea Orca OMR, which is complete with Shimano Tiagra. Okay, I must admit, when I was a pro, I did have the best of the best equipment. I had top-of-the-range componentry, and riders would turn their noses up at anything less. But I really want to prove that you can take part in these brutal races and challenges on a mid-range group set that will handle these races with ease. It's got everything I could need. Hydraulic disc brakes for the really technical steep twisting roads. Compact chainset up front to give me the range of gears I need for fast tailwind descents and those dead legs on savage climbs. Plus, with the same shifting technology as the more expensive group sets, it'll be every bit as smooth as I'm used to. The only downside to my mid-range bike is that I don't have the aerodynamic wheels that I'm used to, so I'll have to work a little bit harder for every one of those 555 kilometers. The day before the event, I was busy with final preparations, getting signed on, making sure I had enough food and water to last, and checking all our plans were in order. I'd been given a start time of 7:57 AM the following morning, which meant an early start for a very, very long bike ride. I also met my support crew, who I was very thankful to for volunteering to watch me and support me through this epic, epic race. So now I guess is a good time to introduce my support crew. We've got Troy and Damien. Troy's ridden the race before and he's already shaking his head at me this morning when I asked him how hard it was going to be. the key to this event. It's not just riding it, it's also having a really good support crew who know the roads, who have local knowledge and who know where I should be riding, because once we get out on the course in the really remote spots, that is like part and parcel of the event really. So I'm super glad to have these guys supporting me, otherwise I'll be probably out in Donegal for a week trying to find my way home. Waking up on race day and it's an early start. I stuff as much breakfast down as I can and then we get ready for my start time. Last minute nerves and flutters are definitely here now, but at this stage, there is no backing out. Okay, so I've got 3 minutes till my start time. It's been a bit of a rush actually getting all my last kind of bits prepared and in the team car. I'll tell you what, I am really nervous now. I'm not putting it on. I've got a dry mouth, I'm scared. 555k ahead of me. It's not just the distance, it's the conditions as well, the terrain, the heavy roads, the nighttime ride. Will I cope with the lack of sleep? I really don't know. I just want to do my best now because I've got an amazing support team behind me. I've got 2 great drivers in Troy and Damien who are navigating for me, and they're going to do their best to get me around the course. I just don't want to let them down. Time's up now, I've got to get going. Got to get my tracker in me and I've got to get down this start ramp. I get going and begin this mammoth 555 kilometre race. There will be 12 checkpoints along the course where I'll be required to text in my time and location. The first is 59.8 kilometres away, and then at 103.9 kilometres at the famous Malin Head, the most northerly point of Ireland. The course is split into 3 sections. This first part is one big loop of the Inishowen Peninsula, 207 kilometres. Then section 2 is 222 kilometres, and then section 3 is the last 126 kilometres back to Letterkenny. And whilst I eat into the first 100 kilometres of the course, I realise I've forgotten something rather important. I forgot to put on chamois cream, so I think I'm going to have to try and call Stacey ahead.
He calls me his wife, but we're not married, but we're as good as married.
And hopefully I'll be able to borrow some of my son Jesse's nappy rash cream. That should do the job, because these roads are rough. And as the task ahead dawns on me, I do begin to question my sanity. Sometimes I just wonder whether I could be happy reading the Sunday paper. Either way, I crack on and make my way to our first little scenic stop-off. Right, I've made it. The most northerly point of Ireland, Malin Head, and it is absolutely spectacular. I've never been here before, and it's some experience being right here. It's just so remote, you know. Ireland as a country is so remote, and to be at the most northerly point as well is just even more special. It's actually a rather famous sci-fi film filmed here recently, so I'll leave you to guess which one it was. It does have that feel, doesn't it? Feels like you just landed from another world and spectacular. But I can't dwell too long. I'm 104k in and I've got 450k to go. So I better get cracking. As I leave Malin Head, Donegal really begins to show its raw beauty as I head towards the first major climb of the race. Here comes Mamore Gap. I can see it for the first time ahead of me and it is rearing its head up. 2 vicious hairpins at the bottom and it is steep. Looks like a wall from here. Oh, this is going to be a tough little test now. See how well I've paced myself. Oh my goodness, yes it is steep. So we're on Mamore Gap now. Lower slope is pretty steep, first serious test. I'm definitely feeling it in the legs. But it is one spectacular climb. Oh.
Yes.
Come on, Conor!
With 150 kilometres done, I work my way up Mamore Gap, and it is a stinger with a 22% gradient at the top. This is the top, isn't it, I think? Mamore Gap. Atlantic Ocean in the background. Stunning. So I'm looking at the map now, and basically, We're kind of following the lock back into Letterkenny to complete section 1. Luckily, Damien and Troy have everything under control back in my support car.
I think things are going good. The weather's been kind. Conor's just over one of the hardest climbs there, Mamore Gap, and I think he had a very good run over it. Hopefully the rest of the night goes as good.
However, they don't come to my rescue when a dog threatens me on course. Why do I encounter dogs here? Oh God, oh, thank you. Oh, I was scared there. He was giving me a vicious look.
I'll bet the wonder making doggy barks at you to make you go in the middle of the night, Conor.
Now, we established one thing today, you don't like dogs.
So I'm going to try and plan a bit of a break stop and a bit of food at this point, I think. Let's take a little breather, 10 or 15 minutes max. Switch off for a bit while the cars fill up. Gather myself, see Stacey and Jessie, and then it's really head down for the vicious part of this race. How are we? Yeah. Oh my goodness. I'm good. How are you?
All right, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Love sandwich ready here.
Oh, is there? After a sandwich, we leave Letterkenny to hit the Wild Atlantic Way,
my God.
a route which has 2,500 kilometres along the entire western coast of Ireland. It's an epic route, one which will see me face the full force of the elements. We're 230 kilometres in, and I've got to say, Tiagra is really impressing me. I'm surprised, I've got to admit it. It's performed exactly how I was hoping it to. It's handled everything this course has thrown at it so far, and I can't fault it. I mean, everyone wants the best components, such as Dura-Race and the top of the range equipment. And there's nothing wrong with that, because it means companies push the boundaries of what is possible. And that technology has trickled down from Shimano's higher end group sets to this Tiagra group set. Feels race ready, feels able for the course, and it's carrying me to my next point, which is about 20-25 kilometres away at Fanad Lighthouse, well, where the real raw nature of the Wild Atlantic Way is going to begin. Just coming to the top of Knockalla Summit. As you can see, it's absolutely stunning up here. The sun is, I think the sun's going to stay up just in time. That's kind of been my latest carrot to chase. Seeing the sunset, and what a sunset it is. It's just spectacular. I make the sunset after 290 kilometres of riding, and oh my gosh, it was worth it. Definitely the highlight of the race so far. But now the night is drawing in, and with it, the cold. I'm now riding towards my big test, surviving the night.
Starting to get dark now, Troy. You getting tired yet?
Starting to get a bit dark. No sign of tiredness yet.
9:15. We started at 3 minutes to 8 this morning, so nearly 13 hours.
Long shift done already, but good shift to go yet.
So we've started Hornhead. As you can see, I'm slowing to a bit of a creep on the climbs. Thank you. Thanks. As the night settles in, my next target is making it to the 326 kilometre mark at the Ozanam Centre, where I must pass a quick medical examination if I am to continue on course. There is also a chance for a bowl of hot soup. 326 kilometres done. I've been going for total hours, 14 and a half hours. Almost double the longest ride I've ever done, nearly. I've just put my legs down here and I haven't moved them for ages.
Do you think he's showing signs of someone who's going to finish it?
He will finish it. He will finish it. Definitely.
Thankfully, I pass my medical check and carry on riding, but the cold hits almost straight away and I begin to suffer. I've been riding for over 15 hours now, and this race starts to hurt me. I'm suffering. Definitely suffering. At 2 a.m, my stops become a bit more frequent. I'm slowing and wearing every item of clothing I've brought with me. Worryingly, my appetite is also decreasing and I struggle to get food down.
I'm genuinely really starting to struggle now. I didn't know what I'd got myself into, and I really didn't.
Finally, at 4 a.m, around 380 kilometres in, I buckle and come to a stop.
Sit in the front seat of that car. Yeah. Pull that bag out of the way there, Troy. Pull the seat back in.
Oh.
I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. So I'll pull myself together and get over it.
I fall into the warmth of my team car and can't help but close my eyes and I fall straight asleep. I really think this is the end of my race, but my support team think this is just a small setback.
We're in Nairnport now at the minute. We're coming into our draw, then we have the Glengesh climb. After that we'll hit round to Kellybegs and then Home Street. After that, should see sunrise in about 2 hours time. Sunrise will get them going. Bit of energy. Breakfast time, exactly. Taking a little bit of break. We had a lot of climbing for the last while there. Just started raining. We got wet. We got cold. We just decided to have a little coffee. We'll get back on the road again soon.
I managed to wake up and get back on my bike. I just don't want to let Troy and Damien down, so I resolved to push on. But in all honesty, this is one of the toughest moments I've experienced on a bike.
All right, Conor, best of luck.
Okay.
See you shortly, okay?
Yeah.
Be safe.
Thank you. I ride on at a snail's pace, determined to make it over the last climb of the course, Glengesh Summit at 437 kilometres. It takes every ounce of energy, but I make it, and thankfully the sun starts to show itself on the horizon. Unfortunately though, as I'm descending, my energy fades dramatically again, and dangerously, I'm on the edge of falling asleep on the bike. At the 450 kilometre mark, 7:30 a.m, my Donegal 555 attempt is over. Donegal and the race has beaten me.
You okay, Conor?
Calling it a day.
You stopping?
It's my limit.
Well done though.
Thanks. I wanted to make it back.
You understand?
Sorry guys.
Oh, hey, no problem.
Thanks for your help.
Pleasure. No problem.
I wanted to get around for you, but...
Not a problem. I'll be back next year.
I'll have to come back and give it
Oh,
another go now.
definitely. We'll be ready for you next year.
Unfinished business.
We'll have a bit of red ladder next year.
I did my best to fight until the end, but it just wasn't enough, and I had to admit defeat. So I finally made it to the finish, but unfortunately I got here in my team car. I didn't make it on those final 100 kilometres on the bike. We battled the wind, the rain, the elements, the Donegal 555 course, and it was an epic experience. I am happy that I did do this on Shimano Tiagra. It's more race focused than ever, and it allows you to take on these epic challenges, but it's at a much more affordable price, and it's much more attainable. And it never ever was struggling to finish this event. In the end, it was myself who struggled. I just couldn't deal with the night, with the battles, with the physical exertion that this event requires. And I buckled. I didn't make it. But I will be back, and I'm determined to finally ride up onto the finish ramp and experience what must be an epic feeling to complete this event. So that was my attempt at the Donegal 555, what must be one of the hardest ultra endurance races out there. I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who supported me. Stacey, Troy, Damien, who were in my team car behind, and also the camera crew, the support drivers. It was a massive team effort, but also the people of Donegal who cheered me on the whole way round, and the organisers of this epic event. Oh, it was some experience. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy the riding.